second place wins $5 and first place wins 10. So lunch is on you. I wanted to mention about the books going around. What we really need are you, if you're in the book, to look at your area, your piece, not the whole book, because then it'll never get around. So just once you check your particular piece, just pass it on, and then we'll get it back.
Some have more than one piece.
Oh, I understand that.
That's the problem.
Yeah, well, then it's like, you know what, it's like confession. The longer they're out there praying, the badder they've been. So the longer you hold the book, the better you've been by getting more winners. So keep going.
I'm reading as fast as I can.
Okay. I'd like to introduce our guest today. And I've got to put my glasses on for that. Theresa has been a writer for 35 years since she was able to hold a pencil. Did I say 35 years? It's 55
It's
years.
longer than that.
Oh, okay, all right. Her specialties are history and travel writing. Theresa is author of a series of what she calls tourable history books. The fourth in the series is Amazing Alabama, the bicentennial edition, which is right here, Amazing Alabama. Governor Kay Ivey wrote the foreword, and the book has been nominated by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission for a Legacy Project Award. Theresa is also author of 18 published books and has contributed to 17 anthologies. Most of these are in the New York Times, best-selling Chicken Soup for the Soul series. She's also a freelance journalist and has published more than 800 articles for newspapers and magazines. She has interviewed such notables as actress Patricia Neal, Dolly Parton, Archer Manning, and General David Petraeus. Her articles have appeared in International Wood Trade, Southern Living, and Vanderbilt Magazine. And she's a Penster. Wow, we're lucky. So let's give Theresa a warm Penster welcome. And I should say that her title today is The Changing Face of Publishing. You're welcome.
Can y'all hear me okay? And you know the term y'all is correct grammar. It means you all, it's a contraction. I keep telling Yankees that all the time. And of course, you see this is the new face of publishing. Oh, and anytime that y'all have a question, feel free to hold up your hand. Hey, Todd. Well, John, thanks for the excellent introduction. Before we go on, I would like to say thank you to our veterans. All veterans, please stand up so we can appreciate you.
I think there's only...
I'm a military brat, so they asked me if I'd like to join the Army. I said, I've been in the Army all my life. My dad used to have inspections. Anyway, I don't want that. Okay, actually, I'm going to skip the intro because John did such a good job. But my first thing that I ever wrote was a story about a ballerina, and I wrote it on a legal, just a lined paper when I was like 7 or 8. And my older sister did the illustrations, and we made the backing or the cover with a legal pad backing, and gave it to my younger sister for a gift. And the gift of sharing my writing with someone, it was just such a special feeling. And so anyway, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And a lot of y'all feel the same way. And by the way, everyone in here that I heard your stories, oh my gosh, send them to more contests, especially yours, Linda. The use of gerund verbs worming through her mind instead of just going, I thought this. It's just amazing how you can turn a phrase. So y'all really impressed me. Anyway, you can see all about that. I'm not going to bore you with more of that. And you've seen that too, thanks to John doing such a good job. At the Chicken Soup for the Soul. One of the Chicken Soup for the Soul stories was featured in Good Morning America year before last, and they had the cover of the book on the simultaneous submissions, where in other words, you just have to send it to just that publisher. and then wait, and then wait. It could be 4 months, it could be 6 months. Sometimes they tell you what they call the turnaround process, like when they'll get back to you, and sometimes they don't. It's just a mystery. So here's that's in a nutshell, is the submission process. And again, this is to keep me on track. And here's the dreaded statement: we do not accept simultaneous submissions, which we've already talked about. So this is the standard rejection letter. When you finally get, I have a file like 2 inches thick of rejection letters. So don't give up. It says, "Dear author, thank you for submitting your work at this time period. Unfortunately, it does not fit our needs. We wish you luck in placing it elsewhere." Who's seen that? And you go, "Oh man." But you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now I think I have something. Oh, I have a little anecdote to share with you. One of the publishers to which I submitted, it was Watermark Press in Birmingham, I'll never forget it. This editor must have been in a foul mood because she wrote at the bottom of my rejection letter, "You are a terrible writer." There's more, wait. "Please do not ever send work to Watermark Press again. And the world would be a better place if you did not write anymore." So, I was so just really upset with her. And but I never did submit to Watermark Press again. So I did what she said. But I was so angry, I took that story, I sent it to a 5-state writer competition, and I won 2nd place, publication, and cash prize. So you can't always believe one person. Okay? So instead of finding an agent, sending out submissions, waiting for replies, and then doing it all over again, here are ways you can bypass all that. I mean, the world has changed so much for writers. So here are a few ways to get your message out there. There is a difference between vanity press, which is what I'm publishing my mother's autobiography. That would be a vanity because it's just, she doesn't want to make money on it. She just wants to get her story where she can share with her family. And so self-publishing, like what many of us are doing now, that's the way to go. But there is a responsibility on you. It's even greater now than ever before. So the difference is, who is your audience? Is it just family and friends? Do you want to get that? Do you want to make the New York Times bestseller list? What's your goal? So you need to think about what your goals are. What's your purpose? In my Alabama book, I want to make everybody damn proud to be an Alabamian. Okay. So vanity press is if money's no concern, you don't mind paying for your work to be published and just hold the reins of the entire writing and publishing process. And you don't care about wealth or fame, and that's okay. So, but if you're serious about your message, like many of us are, and you're truly gifted with words like, "All I heard today just blew me away," and if you're passionate about your subject, which many of us are, and you're committed to get your best work out there, I want to interject this. I was just thinking about this morning. I was editing a yoga teacher's little booklet about overcoming health obstacles. In her preface, she wrote about people being so, she said, "People just don't exercise like they used to. They are now so much more sedimentary." Oh my gosh. We're rocks. So Mark Twain said, "The difference between the right word and the nearly right word is the difference between the lightning and a lightning bug." So sedimentary or sedentary. So get your best work out there. Make sure it doesn't have any little mistakes like that. And get a thesaurus. These are some avenues for self-publishing, many of which we've used. Amazon, I think it was CreateSpace is what I've used before. Smashwords, a friend of mine has published 5 romance novels through them, and she's made about $30,000. So, but she loves having her work out there. I looked up Smashwords, excuse me, and their tutorial is like 200 pages long. I have ADD. I don't have time to read that. I'd rather say, "Here's my manuscript, do something with it, I'll pay you." So, but it might work for somebody. If you have the patience and you don't have ADD, then it might work. But they're good, they're a reputable company, and they pay. Another one that a very dear friend of mine, C. Hope Clark, who reads her. It's murder mystery set in Edisto, South Carolina. No one? Well, she has a website and it's not on here, but it's called Funds, Funds, for Writers.com. She advertises writing contests, travel abroad, where they, various places will put you up and let you focus on your writing. So, and also agents and freelance jobs. So, Funds for Writers is good, but she publishes all her work through BookBaby, and she does extremely well. She could quit her job, her other job. So Writer's Digest has Avid Press. Ma'am? Question?
Was it Funds Writer? Funds Writer?
Funds for, and this FOR, not the number 4, writers.com. And it's excellent. She usually comes out with a newsletter once a week. I don't know how she does it. And I've gotten published through several things that she's told me about, or won contests. So otherwise I would not have known about those. She's listed in Writers Digest magazine as the top 101 writers' websites, and she's been consistently that ever since she started her website. So she's fantastic.
What is her name?
Her name is C. Hope Clark. Like, I hope I'm not boring anybody. I might be telling some of you things you already know. Some of you might be new to publishing, so I know we run the gamut here with Pensters. So you could even start your own publishing company, like John and Melody Woods. And I think I got that right, Intellect Publishing. And my husband actually started his own publishing company, Moonhowler Press, which is Moonhowler Publishing, which published this and 6 of my other works. I do want to interject that I'm currently in the midst of a class action lawsuit. Myself and 399 other authors are suing some of the aforesaid publishing companies for non-payment of royalties. They haven't paid me for 8 titles for 6 years. That could be a lot, and they're still publishing them. So I've gotten all my rights back, sent them cease and desist, and now through Moonhowler Publishing, I'm republishing all my work. So I keep it. So anyway, traditional publishing, here's how it works. They get 85%. You get 15%. And used to be, they did the publicity. I mean, I've been sent on trips to get 16-city book signing tour and all expenses paid. That was 20 years ago. It's not that way anymore. They expect you to bear the brunt of publicity and expenses. So, but they would keep the 85%. You would get 15%. Let's say, what, a $10 book? You have $1.50, maybe. And if you have an agent, you split it with them. So you get what, 5? Anyway, so there are a lot of traditional publishers are dishonest. So I'm just telling you, one of my mentors for the past 30 years was W.B. Griffin. Some of you, especially in the military, you knew he lived here. He's published over 200 books. He said publishers are the vampires today. He said stay away from them. He just passed away. But anyway, so he was right. But anyway, the chances of your traditional publisher keeping your work out there, like this one will stay on my homepage and my publisher's homepage forever, as long as I want it to. But one of my publishers came out with a book, Amazing Tennessee. It was the first in this series. And the second year, the first year was great. I was on Brand New Local Radio twice, various and sundry festivals, and sent everywhere. And the next year, crickets. And I looked through their catalog that they sent me for the next year, and I was like, where's my book? It was on like the very back page, little tiny picture. And I called them, and they said, oh, after the first year, your book is backlisted. And so you have no say. And I felt like I was in the back of the bus. So this is a term a friend of mine coined, authorpreneurship. It is up to you to make your money. That means publicity, that means make your work perfect. Don't have anything sedimentary. So the term is coming up with an idea centered on book publishing and turning it into a profitable business. I mean, if you love it, great, but why not make money too? I have no problem with that. So your words and your work can do this. So depending on, if you don't have to depend on a traditional publisher to give you those measly royalties, I mean, you did the work, you did the research, you did the travel, you did the blood, sweat, and tears ad infinitum, which is Latin for it goes on forever. A lot of y'all know that. So if you want your book to make money, and John could think of some other things too. We have a 7-step process here, no 12 steps. Write and polish your manuscript. Make sure you don't have the wrong word. Make sure you have the right word, not the nearly right word. Make sure your verbs shine like Linda's. Oh my gosh, they were just beautiful. Instead of said, have a different verb. Instead of the door creaked, have complained. Put some personification. Put as much figurative language into it. Make it just incredible. So you can't just have it run of the mill. But I'm speaking to the choir here, so, or preaching to the choir. But create a plan for launching and promoting your work. For example, AL.com advertises as the top 10 must-reads for the bicentennial, which is this year. Do y'all know that our bicentennial day is December 14th? Back in 1819, they signed the Constitution, which is the longest Constitution in the entire world, by the way. Did y'all know that? It wasn't then. I had a sample with me, but it's in the car. Our original Constitution was 25 pages long. It's now hundreds and hundreds. More amendments than ever. Julie, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so come up with a platform, like link your work with other things, like celebrations, like I'm going to a lot of bicentennial things. I help cut ribbons in Clanton, and I've been all over Alabama. Gumbo Festival, maybe we'll do that next year. But make your work time with as many things out there as you can. And build momentum and interest before your book launches. Everyone that I called or contacted or interviewed or visited, I said, by the way, would you do a review for me? And your story's in here and your picture, so help me out. I mean, ask them, this book promotes tourism, and so they have a vested interest in helping promote this book. So look for ways to sell your work. Have I gone on too long? How much more time do I have?
You're fine.
It won't be another 2 hours, I promise. So share your success and help others. Like I've helped promote Frank and John's work on Amazon. So help each other out. That's what we're here for. So I started looking for ways to dovetail, tie in my work with events. One of my novels is called Growing Season, and in that novel, everybody says, gosh, this is so real. I said, well, I went out and did every scene in the book. I went out and, I helped rebuild a Stearman biplane. I helped with a K9 C-section. I went caving to, spelunking to write a scene in there, and I said, well, it should sound real. I mean, I was sitting in the cockpit of the Stearman when we took it up, and I was taking notes as fast as I could. So anyway, but I went to a fly-in. There was a Stearman fly-in here in Fairhope, and it was all women pilots. It was about 6 years ago. Do y'all remember that? And I took a case of Growing Season out there, because it has a picture of the Stearman on the cover, and every single pilot that came in bought a copy of my book. So if I hadn't been there, well, they wouldn't know. So it was fun. But so try to look for ways to dovetail your work, like the military story that I've got from, what's the guy's name sitting next to you, Kurt?
Glenn?
Yes.
Glenn Isaacs?
Glenn, you've got to go to Pensacola or to the military museums there and get them to, promote your work. But, or even any museums, because most museums, there's a Veterans Museum in Athens, and so they're helping promote this. But look for ways to do that. So if you're looking for books about parenting, look for new parents groups. One of my picture books, I've gone to daycares and done readings and had signings, so it's, it is fun. You meet all these kids, they're picking their nose and hugging you, so. So here's some subscription services. I'll leave it up here for a little while. I'll read this to you, 24-7intouch.com/social-media. Yes, please take a picture if you want to. These are subscription services. I'm not that tech savvy, nor do I have time to go on social media. I'm on Facebook maybe once a week, and I'm way behind on posting blogs on my website. But if you can, some of these subscription services are very low cost, like I think 24/7 is $29 a month, and they put all your events out there, or announcements, whatever you want. There's Twitter, Instagram, all those, there's so many things now. MailChimp.com will post things for free, and ICANSocialMediaAds.com will give you free help. And so they're just more, if you Google in social media, or social media subscriptions, you'll find many. And these are all reputable. I did check them out. Oh, do I need to go back to that? Okay. Just let me know when you're ready. Oh, well, while some of y'all are writing this down, guess how the delegates of the Constitutional Convention decided, guess how they made their decision of where to meet? They didn't decide on, like, based on 3 rivers coming together like Cahaba, or 5 rivers up here, ease of transportation.
I think it was how busy Honey Baked Ham was gonna be.
That's a good guess, Jessica. They said, let's see, there's one place in the whole territory of Alabama that has a brewery. That was Huntsville, Constitution Village. And I went up there and we've got a tour of Constitution Village. The chairs where they sat have their little brass plates with their names and the counties from which they came. It's just, it gives you chills. But Constitution Village said, please don't put that in your book because they were all Baptists.
Can you email me those links and I'll put them in the...
I will. Okay, so I'm going to email Suzanne those links. Announcements, bring your book to the attention of proper outlets, like I was talking about the Stearman, you know, and the Stearman Society knows about growing season, and social media outlets, some of which, like you saw. John just filmed me on Facebook, interviewed me, and said there's one place to, it's on my Facebook page to direct people to my website. But I looked at it this morning, I said, who is that old lady in the video? It's horrifying. So if you have news, you can post it on these social media, getting the word out, and a lot of us are really good at helping each other. World of medications. This is what I think about. There are so many distractions, more than ever, so you need to make your work stand out. Why should they buy your book over, let's say, how many books are in Page and Palette? Hundreds? So why should they get yours? On the back of your book, tell how your book will benefit them. Are you looking for ways to, I think I said, become an expert on all things Alabama. Regale your friends with tales, little-known tales. One of the people who proofread this book was a USA retired history professor. He taught Alabama history, and the greatest compliment came from him. He said, you taught me some things I didn't know. So it's like, yes, that's what you want. So copyright your work. It's very inexpensive. Who does not know about poor man's copyright or poor person's copyright? Before you get your book out there, you can just mail it to yourself. Don't open it. Don't break the seal. It goes through the U.S. Postal Service, and it's got the date on the envelope, and so just put it away. So if someone challenges you for your copyright, you have that sealed manuscript. But once it comes out, like once it's published, it's already copyrighted. So I'm talking about the time in between when you're working on it. So I have done that several times. Well, get your author domain name immediately, and once you search, you have to buy it pretty much immediately. One time, John and Judy, we were sitting at the table, they were with us, and as we were searching for different titles, like Amazing Alabama, the Bicentennial Edition, or whatever, there are these, I can't explain as well as my husband Aaron, but there are these bots that they claim it, and then the price will go up from $7 to $70 if you wait. Like I'd wait a day or two, so go ahead and buy it. We bought about a dozen just for a few dollars, and then you can protect that. If you want to use it, you've got it. GoDaddy.com is an author domain name. Is for me, with my experience, is one of the best. This was actually John's idea. Get your domain name of your book cover, your book title, and make it a website. So, excellent idea. And editing, formatting, and triple checking, we have to do that. With traditional publishing, that is something. I did have proofreaders. I had a whole stable of proofreaders and line checkers and fact checkers, and so it's all on us now. Or we can proofread each other's work, but so that's what I was talking about, responsibility. So get your name on the well-designed cover where people can see it. I love collages, and so that's why I did this. Actually, my artist did this. I gave him my vision, and start a Facebook page with your author's name on it. and offer freebies like a free Kindle or free readings on Amazon. It's a great way to get your work looked at. And there are scams out there that there's a new kind of pirate. Any publishing company, they want to charge a reading fee, run.
Yeah.
Any agent who charges reading fees, which I've had 5 agents and none of mine have been worth their salt, so I don't have one. And I'm actually doing better without one. Any publicist who wants money up front before their end of the job is done, don't trust them. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Your mama was right. Kindle Select is a great way to make money without worrying about book sales, like you've learned from Frank. KDP Freebie is a way authors sharing global profits. If you join KDP, John, is it Select or Premium? I think it's KDP Select.
Select.
And you become a whole group of other writers that share in the royalties. And it's nice to get a check deposited into your account. Like I had a couple of weeks ago, oh, KDP has just made a deposit. I was like, yes. Okay, my check won't bounce. You can offer your work free for a specific time on Amazon and Kindle. And the Department of Defense and other government agencies are great ways to sell your work. Lynn, that'd be great for you. Get it into schools. Yes, Elizabeth?
Hey, on that previous slide, you had a vast at the top.
Yes.
A vast, now there's a different kind of pirate.
Yes.
What, can you talk about that a second?
Oh, the pirates, you know, a bass is,
You
is
mentioned
whether,
a vast is a pirate?
no, a bass is not a pirate. A bass is an exclamation that a pirate makes. A bass, ahoy.
Okay, you're not talking about the soft, because there's a software program called Avast.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. I told you I wasn't tech savvy.
That's okay, I just want to be sure, because I have it.
Okay. So, some of my books are in schools in a place, let's see, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, bought a whole bunch of my kids' books. State government in Alabama, the vendor website is STARR. Or if you just Google in state vendor. And once your books are accepted in STAR, and it takes 4 to 6 months, so just be patient. But once it's there, state parks can buy it, any state entity, museums, it goes on the state website, or you hope it does. You might have to stay on them sometimes to get it there. So the bicentennial edition is on the state's bicentennial website. So that was really great. So I already told you about the top 10 must-reads. Fiverr is something John turned me on to. It's cheap or free help. They will do indexing. They will do proofreading. And so all kinds of help there. It's very inexpensive. Sometimes you might have to be patient. But it's 5 and then 2Rs.com. And to buy your ISBNs, there's only one place where you can get them. And that's myidentifiers.com. That is not case sensitive. I just capitalize the N and the I so you can see the difference. But that's Valker ISBN service, and they're the only way to get your ISBNs. I'm going to suggest you do buy a block. They sell them by about 10 at a time. If you buy 10, it's the same price as buying one. Working on your book, go ahead and get the ISBNs. The price might go up, we never know. And they also offer other services such as editing, and they're really wonderful. And that's something John told me about. So I guess I'm giving this this presentation because he's been such a big help. Sir, question?
Yes. Can you give us a quick idea of how you pay a publicist?
Well, currently, previously my other publicists were hired by my traditional publishers, but currently my publicist is my daughter, Sarah Jones, so different last name now.
Yeah, if you get a professional, I paid $40,000 for a publicist and got very little out of it.
Exactly.
How are you supposed to pay a publicist?
I take her out to lunch. Okay, there's my cell, if you think of any other questions. Yes,
I
sir?
have a question and a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
The question is this in book form, all of this information?
I will send it, the whole thing to Suzanne, and then she can send it as a link to y'all. So,
Fantastic. And the question was, you mentioned earlier that you were in a Hungarian prison. That got my attention.
That is all, that's actually published, so I did get paid for that experience, but for a while I thought I was going to be executed as a spy. You've heard that story, haven't you, John? Okay, yeah, I did write about that and wound up getting published and paid, but it was scary, so. Yes, Kurt?
I think you should emphasize the Fiverr website, because if anyone here hasn't explored that website, it really is remarkable what you can get for $5.
It really is.
You can get animations, voiceovers, writing help. Most of it is from apparently Thailand or
People in other
Vietnam,
countries.
but they'll do it overnight.
They will, so they're usually pretty fast,
It's terrific.
but I'll send this to Suzanne. So, well, thank y'all for your time and for listening.